Last week at Steel City, Pro Circuit Kawasaki's Dean Wilson earned his first AMA title with a dominating 1-1 overall win.
This is just unbelievable and the best feeling ever, and I hope this isn't the last one because it just feels way too good. Thank you, everybody. As
the series heads back to California for the season finale, only the 450 title is left to be settled. Suzuki's Ryan Dungey is down to the final two motos in a last-ditch effort to repeat as series champion. He has spent the past 4 months battling disappointment.
Ryan Dungey has a big lead here late in the second moto, but he is slowing dramatically and I believe coming to a stop. Jeff Emig, it's over.
Persevering through unforeseen trouble.
And Dungey just no team, no bike,
and at times being the most dominant rider on the track.
And Dungey launching and then landing in those ruts. He is putting on a full sprint.
But through 11 rounds, Dungey is still second best.
Now Villopoto's on the right side where he was on the left earlier. He's going to go for it and take the lead and the win in the last corner.
Kawasaki's Ryan Villopoto stands on the cusp of his first 450 title. It's the championship he was supposed to win 2 years ago. 3 straight titles in the 250 class made him a favorite on 450s, until 2 seasons worth of injuries left him on the sidelines. Today, Ryan Villopoto can fulfill all that promise and claim the 450 championship. It's the Battle of the Ryans, Part 12, and it's coming to you live from Tyla Raceway, right here on Fuel TV.
We're just outside of San Diego, California for the final round of the 2011 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. It's the Traxxas Pala National. Dean Wilson has already claimed the 250 championship in this series. Clinched it last week at Steel City, got to celebrate with his team. But there is still a lot on the line for that Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki squad. And we'll talk about that here as myself, Jason Wygant, and 4-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig welcome you to Pala Raceway live on Fuel TV. Domination so far this year for the Pro Circuit team. They've won 11 of 11 rounds. They're looking to make it a perfect season if they can take the win today, and they already have the championship with Wilson. What more can you say about this squad? They've been on fire all year long.
Yeah, they have definitely been the dominant force this year. But you go all the way back to 1991 when Mitch Payton first developed his race team. And from the first year, there was a culture of winning. And anybody that's been in that position, you know that winning, that's what it's all about. And that team and every individual there is expected to pull their weight and to give it their very best effort. And that's why you've seen 3 of their 4 riders this summer were battling for the championship. So just exceptional effort, just a great team effort right there.
Yeah, so Rattray and Baggett, that's Wilson's teammates, they are still battling for second in the series. Nothing to worry about for Wilson. He's got it locked up. And this week he finally gets to celebrate with his parents, who were not there when he clinched the title last week.
Yeah, the phone call when I called my mom and dad, it was actually quite emotional. I mean, I really wanted them to be there, obviously, and you always think of your first championship, your mom and dad and your whole family and crews there, but they weren't quite there because I wasn't honestly expecting to wrap up a championship at Steel City.
I'm really proud of him and really happy for him. Like him and his whole family have worked really hard to accomplish this, and they moved from Scotland to Canada, and then Canada down here to race amateurs, and then to come to our program. It's been really great. And it's for him, it's obviously it's a dream come true. So, and I don't think it's the last one he'll win. So I'm really happy for him. But I'm also really happy for the other guys. To have 3 guys battle that hard, and they've all been so respectful to each other. That's pretty awesome.
I mean, it's just such a big honor to hang my #1 plate on the door. I walk by all those #1 plates like every day, and to see my name up there, it's definitely a goal that I've always had and a dream come true, and it's definitely a great feeling.
So there it is. The 52-point gap by Wilson cannot be overcome today by either Rattray or Baggett. So they are left to fight over second and third in the series. Either way, Pro Circuit will go 1, 2, 3. Let's send it down to Aaron Bates on the starting line.
We're here at the final round of the season, and the championship may have been wrapped up, but there is still a battle at hand. And Blake, you had said to me earlier this afternoon that you haven't felt quite yourself since Millville. It's the final round, your last-ditch effort, your fastest overall in qualifying. How bad do you want to top this off today?
bad, real bad. You know, just going to try to go out with a bang and try to win both these motos and then head to MX of the Nations.
Best of luck to you today. Second fastest qualifying today is Marvin Muskin. And Marvin, coming to this track, you've got a lot of confidence after last weekend's podium, but this resembles home for you. Kind of like France, it's a racetrack in amongst the valley. How are you feeling lining up today?
I feel pretty good. This track is awesome, and there was a lot of jumps. I had a lot of fun at practicing, and so I know that track, and yeah, it's cool to be close to my house in California. A lot of people. And yeah, ready for racing and the last race outdoor.
One more to go. Go and get it. And Martin Davalos, we talked to him last week. You got to show the big smile. We wanted to see it. The helmet is off. You're still looking handsome. Take us through what's going through your mind, the strategy to attack this final round today.
Well, just pretty much just run my own race and try and do my best. Obviously, we're last race of the season, and everybody's going to try and go, you know, crazy. I just want to go out there and finish my best, and you know, work out healthy. That's the plan, and go until the off season and train hard for Supercross next year. So, obviously get my tooth fixed, and you know, hopefully looking better next time you guys see me.
That's right, guys. Like we said, the championship's wrapped up, but their game face is definitely on today.
Well, not only did Dean Wilson clinch the championship last week, he won the race, and that is 11 wins in 11 rounds for Pro Circuit. Can anyone else challenge him today and end what would be the first ever perfect season? The likes of Tomac, Musquin, Davalos, Cunningham, Sipes, Swanepoel, and the rest are lined up to try to stop the mighty Green Army. Stay with us on Fuel TV.
I've been doing this for
Fully equipped and race ready. Deep inside the valley here, Pala, California Raceway hosting the final round of this championship tour. Let's give you the 411 and show you exactly how we're going to go racing today. We'll have two classes, 250cc bikes and 450cc engines. Each class will race two motos. Each moto lasts 30 minutes and 2 laps. We combine the scores from both to determine an overall winner. Now, this racetrack made its debut on this championship tour last year, but it is a testing home for a lot of the teams, so the riders are pretty familiar with it, riding it throughout the year. Let's talk to the riders about the track.
Pala was cool. It was a new track for last year. It was one of those that you had to make sure you was hanging on because it was going to take you for a ride.
The track's really cool. They have half the track, and it's kind of jumpy and weaves in and out.
You go to the top, and they got like down and up hills, and then they have that big double.
The sun is actually pretty bad there for a couple of the jumps and hills for seeing, you know, because you got ruts again. You can't see in the bottom of them.
I don't know, I just like the track. It's got some elevation changes, and it's just close to home, and that kind of does make a difference.
They always do a good job there. Even when we're out there practicing, they're always ripping it and putting a lot of water down.
Just being the last round of the year, you know, there's a lot of pressure on points leaders, and you want to get out of there with healthy and go home to a little vacation.
All right, that's what the riders think of the track. Let's show you the track map brought to you by Kawasaki and the all-new 2012 KX450F, fully equipped and race ready. Take us through it, Jeff.
Well, I can tell you here at Pala, all of the track that's going up towards the first turn, okay? You make this right. This is all basically uphill. It looks fairly flat, but it's not. So just remember that this is all on a grade. Get into this section over in here. This is where you get some of those steep uphills and downhills. Now, they're not super long like like at a Washougal or something, but this drop off, some doubles. And this is the section when you head back down the valley here, through what they're calling the Huckabuckers right there, that gnarly set of sand whoops. This is when you get into the sun, and it's a difficult track. It's really fast here today.
Are they calling it the Huckabuckers, or are you? Let's go racing here live on Field TV. Oh, big pileup right off the start. And Blake Baggett going to lead everyone into turn 1.
A couple of Lucas Oil Honda riders, not sure which one.
Baggett leading his teammate Wilson. That's Darren Durham on the 37, and Broc Tickle. Their bikes are still tangled about, what, 20 feet out of the start gate.
And so for Broc Tickle, he's shown some really strong rides, but he seems to be so unlucky lately. Wow.
Yeah,
watching the middle of your screen as they lock bars.
Wow.
And there was 3 riders there, and that looks like
Cole Seeley.
Cole Seeley, yeah.
Yeah, on that Lucas Oil Trailer Honda. And Durham, nice dismount there, rodeo style. Luckily he was unhurt. Everyone back into the race.
Is there bonus points now for style? Are we doing that?
He didn't stay on 8 seconds, I can tell you that. Hey, we were talking about the domination of the 3 Pro Circuit riders at the top of the show. They're running 1, 2, 3 right now. Baggett, Wilson, Rattray. Here come the challengers. Marvin Musquin on the Red Bull KTM in 4th. We expected him to do some battle with the Kawasaki boys, and he's ready to do it right now from 4th.
Well, and that is the thing. What we heard in those sound bites earlier is that, you know, for these guys that live here in SoCal, this is a regular stop on the practice circuit during the week. So these riders spend a lot of time riding here. They know the track and the conditions well, and they do a good job at, you know, when they know that it's going to be like the pro day. You know, there's kind of a vibe. They'll rip this track up and you know, leave in some of these huge double jumps that you have here. So these guys have got a lot of time on this track.
Wilson trying to work the inside on Baggett. Baggett going to be our Fuel TV 1 to watch here. Wilson's not going to be able to watch him for long. He's gone from right behind him to right in front of him.
Well, Baggett's going to get a chance to watch the newly crowned champ here and see what sort of lines he has. Down through the Huckabuckers, this whoop section, it's officially been coined the Huckabuckers here by Paula Raceway.
Oh, not by you. Okay, I understand.
Not by me. I do like, and is very fitting. That whoop section is gnarly. I was there in practice next to the track, and it was scary. The guys are coming down there so fast, and one little mistake, and I mean, carnage everywhere. Yard sale.
Wilson trying to hold off Baggett. He's keeping the pressure on. Then it's Rattray in 3rd. Musquin and Jimmy Dakotas rounding out the top 5. Great battle here between the teammates.
And great soil. Look at the mulch here in that whole start area. They ripped it up. It is a beautiful Southern California day here. It was cloudy and overcast early on, so a lot of the moisture stayed in the track, maybe about 75, 80 degrees. And 1 week ago, it was upwards of 100 degrees here. So I know these riders, and especially the thousands of fans that are lining the fences, are really happy that Mother Nature has given us some great weather.
Woo. Nice piece of riding there by Wilson through that section. Does he look like he's having fun today now that the pressure's off?
It's all about confidence, and there's no reason for Dean Wilson to lay off today. Lay up, I guess would be the term, because the championship's there. I mean, just keep the hammer down.
See Dakotas, he is in 5th on the red bike, the Honda. Then it's Swanepoel on the 387. And then 71 of Ryan Morais on the Suzuki, followed by his teammate, Martin Davalos.
Yeah, 3 Suzukis in a row there.
Yeah, and then behind Davalos at the 156 of Jason Anderson. So the 3 Kawasaki's running in formation, and the 3 Suzukis as well.
This uphill right there, that's one of my all-time favorite spots on the track. Yeah,
you got to know it well.
Great memories.
How's the dirt taste up there?
It's harder than you think, I can tell you that. So no onboard camera for me this year. Sorry, folks.
Here is Morais trying to get around a Swanepoel. This is the only man, we're talking about Swanepoel, who has beaten the Kawasaki team in a moto this year. He won the first moto at Southwick 2 weeks ago. Wasn't able to capitalize to win the overall for the day, but still, that's a mighty feather in your cap considering no one else on any other brand of bike has been able to do it. Today under pressure from Morais, who's joined us a little late in this tour. Was out early with the hip surgery. But he's back. Anderson has gotten around Davalos now. Anderson going after Morais.
Yeah, well, Morais actually had a special moment in his life this week, right? Birth of their child.
Yeah, busy guy. Good thing to have a race local to his California home. I know what it's like to be stressed out trying to fit a race schedule into that program. So congratulations to he and Hannah, I believe his wife, right?
Correct.
Meanwhile, Anderson, though, has made the pass. Been waiting all year long. We mentioned it several times on this show for Jason Anderson to catch fire. He was the man in the amateur ranks a year ago. So a lot of people thought in his rookie pro year you'd see him running toward the front up near the podium. Hasn't had it come together for him yet. Go back forward. Looks like Rattray in 3rd under fire from the 125 Musquin. And
the Frenchman Musquin is up there putting on a good solid ride. Now he's spent a lot of time practicing here. He's obviously from France, but he lives here in Southern California now, racing the AMA circuit. But this is a wide open type of track here, and it's a type of track that he really enjoys, and you can tell he says he's having fun on the track. You know, lap times are good, and you know, normally when the rider's not happy, there's going to be a pretty good correlation between a bad lap time or a bad finish and that unhappiness. But look at Musquin right now trying to go around the outside. Both riders, former MX2 world champions, of course the 250 class, formerly 125cc class.
Yeah, both these guys spent some time in Europe, like I said, and Rattray, the 2008 champion overseas, and then Musquin won the 2009 and 2010 championship. So these two never really got a chance to race each other. Musquin was still kind of coming through the ranks when Rattray was on top of that series. Then Rattray moved to the U.S., so one of the first times they've ever been on the same racetrack battling for the same spot.
But this racetrack also it's spectacular for the fans. You know, you missed my track walk this morning, but
I'm very upset.
Track walk around the outsides, got a chance to vibe out with all the fans and checking it out. And I'm telling you, back here through the Huckabuckers, I was watching
Whoa! Wilson!
What?
Jumping over that rhythm section, and you can hear the crowd come to life over that move.
What I was going to say, I was watching a 450 practice, and Chad Reed kept kind of sizing something up. Is it possible that this friendship between Reed and Wilson there, that they talked about that type of move, and that, hey, I think if you come through this, actually, let's take a look again at this. Now, normally you would jump over the top and then have a single after it. Watch Wilson on the rear wheel, manualing it, picking up his speed. Okay, now he gets his sequence where he wants to be. Double, now watch him hammer right here, and then stays on the throttle, even lifts it. Wow, that was awesome. And that's why Wilson just turned a 214 flat, and Baggett and everyone else is about a full second up from that.
And they all got to see it with a front row seat. Rattray, Baggett, Musquin, they got to see him jump that thing, and now they know they're going to have to step up and do it as well if they want to keep up with your leader. We'll go a little bit further back. You got Dakota, Swanepoel, and Anderson. All want a piece of the top 5.
And this section that they went through there in the background, it's awesome because you can actually buy a spot to put all your RVs right there. So the fans right along that section just are treated to excellent parking.
Living it.
Cool,
Living
yeah.
that sense, like their front yard. Look at Swanepoel trying to make a move on Dakotas. It was those up and down hills you were talking about, and Anderson following them through.
Yeah, Dakotas is... he's doing a little cat and mouse, kind of looking back, trying to guard his position. The only problem, though, is that when you get into that situation, your lap time usually starts to jack up. Boom. And Dakotas was a 217. Our leader was at a 214.
Everywhere that Swanepoel wants to go, Dakota seems to be there. Swanepoel still not able to make the pass. And meanwhile, Anderson back under fire from his teammate Morais. Here goes Swanepoel again.
Yeah, look, he's got that line there. And I tell you, in that situation, the rider behind starts to get a little ticked off. That's when you start with some rough riding.
Dakota's able to avoid that. Yes, we have a pool set up right next to the track as well. A really cool place to watch a motocross race. Welcome back to Pala Raceway. Dean Wilson leading this first moto in the final round of this Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. He has already wrapped up the championship in this class and riding that wave of momentum right now. He had to get around his teammate Blake Baggett early and was able to do that. Now it's Tyla Rattray into the number 2 spot. While we were away at break, Rattray made the move on the 57 of Blake Baggett, and the 125 of Marvin Musquin is right there, trying to break up this trio of Kawasaki riders up front.
Yeah, but if you look at the lap times the last time around, Jason, it was Tyla Rattray, a 214.6. Wilson was a 215.6. Baggett was right there in the 214s, and Musquin was at a 215. So really, it's Rattray and Baggett here in the middle of your screen. I mean, the two middle riders in this 4-man group that are on the move. So we'll see if the KTM rider sitting back and forth can find some better lines. I noticed last time around he was riding a lot of the wide lines. Okay, choosing a different line, which I think is a good move. You got to search it out. See right here how he's taking the wide. You got to go way out there. Now, if you do that, you really have to carry some speed because you're going a longer distance, of course. And on a small bore bike here like the 250Fs, it's not a bad choice, especially with an uphill coming up. See right here where Anderson's at, this uphill on the right, it falls away to your left right there. Now you got to get all the momentum and get that horsepower to the ground to jump that big Lucas Oil tabletop, which is really fun, by the way. I don't know if you've ever jumped that before.
What do you think?
Okay, so I'm assuming no.
After our 2 straight hours of live coverage is complete tonight on Fuel, don't miss the premiere of the Moto Inside the Outdoors right after this race. Take an inside look at the real story behind the ride. That's tonight, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, only on Fuel TV. If you're not familiar with that show, this is an inside look at this Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. The crew follows the riders to their homes during the week. They follow when they're riding and training. They put microphones on the mechanics and the families and the team members during the motos. If you don't understand the sport of motocross, when you're done watching the Moto Inside the Outdoors, you will understand it. It's an awesome view of the sport.
And there's moments in there that are going to make you laugh. I guarantee sometime you're going to cry. Okay, and you're going to see what this is all about and how much hard work and dedication the riders, the teams, the families, the girlfriends, the wives, how much sacrifice goes on to do this sport.
Battle is on for second. Baggett trying to get Rattray back. Rattray passed him about 2 laps ago. And it's nearing the halfway point of the moto. Back when Baggett was the man winning a whole bunch of races in this tour earlier in the year, it was at about this point in the race when he would begin to put on a charge.
Well, he told you that,
still,
right? He told you the halfway point is what, I'm waiting for the halfway point, and then I pulled the trigger.
So we'll see if he still has that in him. If he could get Rattray, he still has about 3 more seconds to make up on Wilson, who is your leader. And let's send it down to Aaron, who was a special guest down on the track. Aaron?
Brian Deegan is always exploring new opportunities in the racing world. And Brian, maybe you could explain to us the upcoming 2012 Supercross Motocross season and elaborate on what's taking place.
Well, I'm excited to be a part of the races. This is where my heart is. And I want to come out here and do a race team, Metal Militia Racing, and do West Coast Supercross, Outdoor Nationals. We've got support from Yamaha. Right now, everything is going good. Looking at great riders that fit our image. And I really want to go out there and be serious and go out and put in results and have great bikes and just give back to the sport that this is where I started. Grew up racing motocross, supercross. It's awesome. It's on. So game on 2012.
Speaking of game on, put the racing aside. Take us through the Ellis Mania boxing match you have coming up.
Yeah, so many things going on lately. After X Games, I said, all right, it's time to get focused. Me and Dave Mira are gonna fight. Ellis Mania, we're gonna get in the ring. All the talk stops. When that bell rings, it's game on. Boxing gloves. We're gonna brawl it out, but in all, it's good. It's for charity, and in the end, it's definitely serious, and me and Dave are serious guys, but afterwards we'll shake hands and have a good time. So it's on. Check it out.
Yeah, it is on. It's not going to be on Fuel TV. November 30th, 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. That's Ellis Mania 7. Mira and Deegan in a cage. That's going to be fun to watch. And Jason Ellis, a big motocross fan as well. He's probably out here watching today, putting that together. Meanwhile, Blake Baggett in a fight with his teammate Rattray for the number 2 spot, and he has finally reclaimed that position. 3 or 4 laps these two have been duking it out.
Yeah, and in the process there, Baggett turned a lap time that was a second faster than Rattray and about a half a second faster than Wilson. So at the moment, 57 here, Blake Baggett, local SoCal boy here from Grand Terrace, California. Actually used to be my neighbor when I lived in that area. But yeah, he's on the move.
That's really sad. He never had the chance to be the fastest kid on the block. Never was able to claim that.
I was 15, 20 years older than him, so
either way.
He was on a PW,
right? They have put a little bit of distance, but not much, on the Frenchman here in the number 4 spot. But it's got to be a nice shot in the arm for him to at least run with these guys. As I was saying earlier, he's never really had the chance to race Rattray and missed most of this year with an injury, so at least he's able to measure himself against those boys.
Yeah, and it's right now, Marvin is in a real confidence-building mode. Remember, you go back to Freestone, first moto, first lap, gets his hand broke when Barcia went down, and it set you back. And that type of injury, it's tough to do the physical therapy and get back on top, but he's certainly putting in some good rides here today.
And it is Anderson who's moved up to 5th behind him. So 2 of the riders who have not had the season that they would like, Musquian and Anderson, finally coming to life here at your finale. Stay with us.
Dirty Mouth.
Welcome back to Pala Raceway. Dean Wilson, who won both motos at this race last year, is in the lead again, but it's not going to be easy this time. He's got his teammate Baggett behind him, and Wilson continues to jump that huge rhythm through that long straightaway.
I believe Dean Wilson's going to need that advantage. Now, I haven't seen, because we haven't seen it on the screen here, whether or not Baggett is jumping that also, but last time around, it was Baggett that was a second faster. They've evened out, although Baggett was just a couple of clicks quicker right there as he gets the message there from his mechanic in the mechanics area that it's Baggett behind him. And that's what you want to know, because you know the tendencies of each rider and kind of their MO and how they ride and what to look out for. And, you know, we're definitely past the halfway point, so Baggett's going to pull the trigger at this point, right?
Watch Fuel TV's new original series, Strangers in Danger, with best friends and pro BMXers Mike Rooftop Escamilla and Zach Catfish Yankush. They're lightly packed, heavily insured, and they're on a mission to take on some of the most extreme, bizarre, and dangerous experiences around the globe. Strangers in Danger, Tuesdays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. I got to catch one of those episodes last week. They went to China and risked their lives 7 or 8 times in one episode. You definitely want to check out Strangers in Danger. It was crazier than I thought it would be.
So turn down the guest appearance on that? No, yeah. I'm busy that day.
Yeah, not available when they're getting acupuncture via bees and climbing, I think it was 6,000 feet across a bridge. Yeah, no thanks. This is scary enough. These guys are really pushing the envelope on this racetrack. Baggett, dare I bring back the El Chupacabra name the last half of this race? Is he beginning to attack? Well, that section didn't work out.
Well, it certainly is the weather and the conditions here. The mountainous area here that we're in Pala is where they've been known to run.
Oh, okay, all right, so there might be a sighting. Aaron, what are you hearing on the number 15, Dean Wilson, our leader? Aaron?
He had won the championship just 1 week ago, but he is starting to feel the aftermath already. When he showed up this morning, he was in a great mood, but all day long, people have been wanting a little piece of him, a report, just some sort of interview. At this point of the day, lining up the start gate, he was actually kind of grumpy, which we don't normally see Dean act like. So I think right now he's in the best place he can be. He's out front, no one to bug him. He's doing exactly what he loves to do.
Now, Aaron, he's not talking about requests from you, is he? I mean, this is other reporters from other avenues, right?
I think I'm fortunate. I'm one of the few people Dean loves to talk to, so I'm on the good side there.
All right, that's good to hear.
Hey, it happens. I mean, to the victor goes the spoils, but I'm telling you, in this case, I mean, that pressure, everyone wants a piece of you. I mean, even I was getting a jersey today for a friend. So
are you serious?
Part of it.
I'm a jersey hunter? Wow. This kid will not give up. The Marv attack that they talk about through Europe is here in the U.S. And Musquin going after the 28 of Rattray. Rattray hit a little hook in that berm there. Not able to shake the KTM rider.
Look at the tracks really starting to get chewed up now. There's kind of one good line that everyone's been taking, and you really aren't having to move around too much to miss any of the bumps. The track's really fast right now. You know, you can see that they've really prepped the track well as far as, water and moisture in the track. See right there, really no bumps coming out of it. But as these motos wear on today, especially this uphill, it's going to be so chopped out, it's going to be hard to even jump over this Lucas Oil tabletop.
Working their way past a rider that's going a lap down. Behind them, meanwhile, Swanepoel has moved up to the number 5 spot ahead of his teammate Cunningham. Anderson going back to 7th. Morais, Malcolm Stewart, and Davalos ran out the top 10. And a couple other riders we expected to be up there challenging the Pro Circuit squad. Eli Tomac had a bad start. He is back in 11th. Been a tough year for Tomac as far as the starts go. He's been riding very fast the last couple of weeks. And thought he might be able to challenge a Pro Circuit team, at least not so far. So it's up to perhaps Musquin here to break up this sweep.
Yeah, but you take a look at the leaderboard there, scrolling across the top. Seeley, who was down up to start, he's in 13th.
Wow.
It's an amazing ride so far. And Tickle's up to 23rd, and Durham is 20th, inside the top 20. So
amazing.
Pretty strong starts there in the first 25 minutes of this moto. Yeah, that was a pretty vicious crash there going down the start straight.
Yeah, gone through half the field. For Marvin here, we'll go back to him in a second. We're going to show this battle. You've got Swanepoel under pressure. Kyle Cunningham is back. This is the guy who had become Mr. Fourth Place behind the Pro Circuit boys mid-season. Had a rough race at Southwick. I think he was still feeling the effects of that last week at Steel City. Looks like he is regrouped, and the 35 is going after his teammate for the number 5 position.
Yeah, see, that's that section where Wilson was jumping off the top over that single. Yamaha boys are not quite picking up on that line. And you look at the lap times. These riders around a 2:18, 2:17, and Baggett still at a 2:14.
So, and as Baggett is close to the rear wheel now, Wilson, what's on the line for Baggett, Jeff? He had a shot at this championship. Last couple of rounds, Wilson pulled away and locked it up. Well, what would it mean to Baggett to beat the man who just beat you for the championship?
Yeah, well, Moto wins is on the line, possibly an overall. You go into the record books with the overalls. There's money on the line, bonuses from
I want to take it a step further, though. What is it mentally for him to say, you got me for the title, but I can still beat you? I mean, is that on the line between these two teammates, or is it the last round and next year's a long way off?
Yeah, well, it's about keeping it going. There's some pride on the line, too. And Mitch Payton said earlier that these guys have raced pretty clean all summer.
That's Malcolm Stewart, who had just worked his way up into the top 10. Looks like he just ran into some trouble and may have lost a few spots. He was 8th. Been a good summer for Malcolm for the most part, and we'll take it through what happened to the 139.
Well, he loses the rear wheel just a little bit in that berm up on top, and looked like it high-sided him a little bit. And it's really loose soil there. It looked like he got a mouthful of dirt. Plus the other riders coming by are putting some pretty good roost into him, but luckily it was a soft landing.
Back to our leaders, it's still Wilson and Baggett, and this one might go down to the wire. You see the countdown clock at the top of the screen? 3 minutes and 2 laps left, so plenty of time for Baggett to try to make a move or Wilson to break back away. But I think Baggett wants to go for the pass.
I would. Time to go for it. And what can't be understated is in a couple of weeks, these riders are going to represent their country in the Motocross of Nations. Dean Wilson will be riding for the United Kingdom. Blake Baggett will be going for the United States.
All right.
And we know that we've got issues between these two countries going way back
to the 1700s. Really? Okay. We'll let these two settle it to Scotsman Wilson and the Californian Baggett. But yeah, that's true. They will actually be battling, and they will not be teammates. It's going to be held in France next week, and we'll see. They're going to have to race Marvin Musquin on his home turf as well, so he'll be in that mix also.
And I tell you, to have Musquin riding in Western France, the crowd support for him is going to be unbelievable.
All right, this is a great race. We'll stay with it as Wilson tries to hold off Baggett, and Baggett trying to prove that although Wilson got the better of him for the championship, that he can still pull those El Chupacabra charges in the second half of the race and work his way forward. It's going to be fun. We'll be back with the finale when we return live on Fuel TV.
Since I was a kid, I've been
Blake Baggett still trying to figure out a way around Dean Wilson while we're at break. He really put in an attack, but every time we thought he had the pass made, Wilson was able to respond and hold him off. Now we're waiting for that 2-lap card to come out.
And I wonder if that has motivated Wilson. He really is putting in a better lap, and it was this section 1 lap ago where Baggett was all over him. But Wilson withstood the pressure there. So we'll see as they come around the finish line one more time and see what that lap time is. But you see he's got a good 3 or 4 bike links on him.
Yeah, this is where they were a lap ago, Jeff.
Yeah, watch. Wilson tries to stop, and he stands up just a little bit. That allows Baggett to get to the inside. And watch how close they get over this drop-off. Wilson has to lift up his foot just to not hit the front wheel of Baggett.
And Baggett worked a few times throughout this section, all the way down into the valley. And I thought for sure in this section that Baggett had the pass made. Wilson was able to hold him off, and now they switched lines again. The last time around, Baggett was on the inside. This time, Wilson on the inside. And Wilson still in the lead.
Yeah, so Wilson 2:15.4, Baggett that time a 2:16.4, so lost a second. But you can see he's still right there taking on the roost. But who has lost time is their teammate Tyla Rattray. He lost 2 seconds this last lap. He's now close to 14 seconds behind, but Musquin is only a few clicks off of him. So the top 2 are pretty close, and then second, third, fourth are pretty close also.
Yeah, and Swanepoel still in fifth, just trying to hold off his teammate Cunningham, who's right behind him.
You notice the AMA official there with the blue flag in his hand. That's for the lapped riders. And they're definitely getting into that group right now. Take a look and we'll know just how far they've lapped up to here with 2 to go.
And Baggett now down to a lap and a half to try to make something happen and get the lead. But as you were saying, here comes some lap riders.
And a situation like that could have been dangerous there for the 15.
I believe that was Kyle Peters, 23rd place, who just went a lap down. So they are nearing the top 20, which means you're going to start lapping riders who are battling for championship points. So they're not just going to stop and pull over when you get to them. Wilson will have to deal with that.
Tell you, this whole hillside area right there, I walked that earlier today, and the viewing from there is unbelievable. DC has an area up there that is just like the best view of the whole valley. It's, they really have done some great things with this very young racetrack. I mean, just you know, a year and a half ago, this place was not a national track.
Yeah.
And tremendous effort here from everyone involved with Pala Raceway.
Another lap rider that Wilson has to contend with. This could be another shot for Baggett. But again, he is not as close as he was 2 laps ago. And now we're nearing the white flag.
Let's see if Dean Wilson can get his line back. Not jumping over this single right there. Doesn't quite have the line, but now it looks like he's focused on cleaning up his turns, carrying his momentum, and he's got a little gap here. White flag gonna be out pretty quick.
We'll see if Wilson can hold back the attacks of the Chupacabra with a lap to go. The gap is 2 seconds, and it was about 0 seconds. Well, okay, 2 seconds on my clock and 1 second on Paul Perapino's clock. Letting him know objects may be closer than they appear. And still, though, it looked like it was inevitable that Baggett was going to get him. He closed in from a couple seconds back, put major pressure on. Wilson has done a great job rebounding.
Well, and that's where all that mental strength and the confidence and belief in yourself. And I'm sure Dean's like, hey, I'm the new champion. I'm not giving this win up. I want to still win these motos and do everything involved and just keep that momentum going.
And Rattray is now 16 seconds back in third. So that gives you an idea how much both of these young kids have stepped up, Wilson and Baggett. And it's amazing in this class, folks. Wilson and Baggett, it's only their second go-around as professionals. Go back to 2009, and they were racing on the amateur circuit in the U.S. So it says a lot about what the amateur tour has done to prepare these riders for the pro ranks. Now Wilson is already champ. Baggett has won a bunch of races this year. These guys come in ready.
It was interesting when, he almost goes down. When both of these riders graduated from the amateur ranks, Mitch Payton looked at both of them for Pro Circuit. He went with Dean Wilson, and then Baggett went to Rockstar Suzuki for a year and showed a lot of promise there. His contract was up, and so then Mitch signed him, right? Got that kind of almost like a second chance at Blake Baggett, and he's really been spectacular this year. There's been a few mistakes here and there, but speed and things like that, he definitely has got it.
Yeah, they've locked in 2 good ones for the future here with Wilson and Baggett, but it's beginning to look more and more like Wilson will not only take the measure of Baggett in the championship, but maybe in this first moto. Whoa! That was a little crazy through that huckabuck section.
That's a huckabuck, and I'm telling you, you got to be 4th, maybe even 5th gear on these 250Fs through there. So if you get off right there, not going to be good.
We're closing in on the checkered flag. So is Dean Wilson. The fist pump. Here it is. Dean Wilson takes the first moto at Pala. Blake Baggett right behind him. A great race right down to the end. 1.3 seconds, the final margin of victory. We go back to third. Tyla Rattray was there for most of the race. But when Wilson and Baggett hooked up down the stretch, they brought their pace to another level. Rattray cruising through here, not even doubling.
Yeah, he made a little mistake, didn't make that double, but look how close Musquin was. He was right there. He probably gave up a second and a half by not doing that double.
And that very section. So Musquin almost breaks up
that Kawasaki sweep of the podium. Could not get it done, so it is looking more and more like possibly 12 overall wins in 12 rounds for the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team. It looks good after the first race today. Wilson talking to his mechanic, Paul. They got to be happy about having another moto win. We'll be back right after this.
I've been doing this for...
Welcome back to Pala Raceway. We have just wrapped up our first moto. We'll talk to our winner in just a moment. Want to talk about first big talk and big tunes and big sports. The Daily Habit, the wildest late night party on television, weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, only on Fuel TV. Let's give you the race recap and show you how our race winner Dean Wilson got that win. Huge pileup right off the start. Luckily, none of these riders were hurt. Cole Seeley in the 36, 37, Darren Durham, and the 20 of Broc Tickle were all able to come back and actually score some points in this race. Meanwhile, the number 15 of Dean Wilson takes the lead from your early leader, 57 of Blake Baggett, but that one was far from over. Here's Baggett trying to mount a comeback. Latter stages of the event for about 20 minutes. Wilson had him held at bay. Baggett comes so close to taking the lead back with 5 laps to go. From there, though, Wilson would up his pace and hold Baggett off. He'd win by 1.3 seconds. A great race between the two Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki teammates. And another one of their teammates, Tyla Rattray, finishes third, holding off Marvin Musquian, and then Gareth Swanepoel holds off his teammate, Kyle Cunningham, on the DNA Shred Stick Star Racing Yamaha for 6th. Eli Tomac, great ride after a bad start, salvages a 7th. I'm telling you, this kid could get off the gate with the leaders. He might be able to beat them. Seeley, from that crash out of the gate, ends up 11th. Tickle, 19th, and Durham, 16th. Unbelievable rides for those three who were down early. There's your top 40. Let's send it down to Aaron on the podium with your race winner. Aaron?
Dean Wilson said a big relief having that championship wrapped up. But Dean, a little bit of controversy just took place between you and one of your teammates, something that hasn't happened all season long. Take us through what happened from your perspective.
You know, I'm out to win. You know, that's my goal. And just because I won the championship doesn't mean anything. You know, I really want to win here. I got all my family here, and I don't know. I just unexpectedly I crossed the finish, and then he grabs my helmet like a tough guy. And you know, he's my teammate, and I respect him on the track. I'm not going out there to take him out. I was in the lead. He was bummed out. I don't know, but you know what? I'm moving on. I'm not worrying about it. You know, I just couldn't do it without everybody. Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor, Dunlop, Parts Unlimited, Scott, Bands, everybody that's helped me out. Thanks so much.
Congratulations on a dominating first moto.
Yeah, I didn't see anything wrong or, you know, malicious or dirty riding there. I mean, their lap times were great. It's not like he threw out the anchor and he's zigzagging all over the place. It's just a little bit of frustration that Baggett was showing.
Wow. Well, we'll get inside on that when you watch the premiere of the Moto Inside the Outdoors. Episode 1 will be tonight as soon as we're done with our live coverage of this championship. That's tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 Pacific. Get a real look at the inside story behind the ride. That's the Moto Inside the Outdoors coming up next. First, though, let's send it down to the podium with Aaron.
We got Dean's take on it, but now, Blake, take us through what happened from your perspective. You were obviously pretty upset with Dean when you came off the track.
Yeah, I mean, he's cross-jumped me since we were amateurs, and if you cross-jump somebody on the lip of a jump, you're going to end up killing somebody, literally killing them, because they're going to be flying through the air with no bike. And he's done it since amateurs. He's done it all along, and I'm just sick and tired of it. I don't care if he's my teammate. You're going to kill somebody. That's not the right thing to do. You know what I mean? And he's done it all along, and I'm just tired of it. And I just tried to ask him, like, what are you doing? You're going to end up killing somebody. And he tried to get all tough guy with me, and I just grabbed his helmet, like, I'm asking you why. Give me an answer. And he can't give me an answer. So whatever, just going to try to come back the next race and do the best I can.
Things have fired up under the Pro Circuit Kawasaki tent, guys.
Wow. Yeah, that certainly was a different take. that was the different perspective. Hey, he's frustrated, though. He wants to go win these races, and I applaud him. He is trying hard, and that was a great effort that he put in.
Okay, upcoming TV here on Fuel TV. We'll have our highlight show, of course, September 15th, because every Thursday night at 10 we have our highlights of each round, and then we'll have a full package of the entire season's worth of highlights on September 22nd at 10 p.m. Eastern. So it's great that Fuel TV is not only showing the races, but showing the highlights of the midweek as well. Let's send it back down to the podium with Aaron.
Tyla Rattray was 6th overall in practice. You obviously had found your rhythm out there. The track's starting to get pretty choppy. Things are getting a little fired up. You're going to now have to be a mediator under the Pro Circuit tent. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, it's, you know, they obviously 2 young guys, you know, and they're racing and want to win badly, and obviously want to be the best, and that's what happens when you're that age. And but I'm happy with my ride. You know, I felt good in the beginning there, and halfway suffered with a bit of on pump, and I make a couple of suspension changes on the front. You know, it's really choppy out there, and I think the second race will be a lot better.
One left to go.
One week ago at Steel City, Pro Circuit Kawasaki's Dean Wilson captured the 250 championship.
And now, your 2011 250 Motocross champion.
I'm not lying when I say this. This is a dream come true. I've literally slept and dreamed about this.
Wilson can now take his place among the greats that have won titles for the Pro Circuit team. The final round of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship is set to get underway from Pala Raceway.
We're just outside of San Diego, California for the grand finale of the 2011 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship, the Traxxas Pala National. Hello everyone, Jason Wygant, of course, joined by four-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig for what should be a great final round of the 250 class here on Speed. Dean Wilson has already wrapped up the championship, but his team still has some history on the line. They want to win all 12 rounds of this 12-round championship. They've won 11 so far. They're in good position to get it done.
Well, and it was a really intense start to the day. I'm telling you, Dean Wilson, his confidence is there, his speed is there, his determination, everything is working just like it should. He has the momentum. He's going to be hard to beat.
Absolutely, and watch for his teammates, of course, Blake, Baggett, Tyla Rattray. They are still battling for second and third in the championship standings. As you see the points there, the 52-point gap, though, for Wilson is enough to wrap up the championship coming in. So no pressure on him, but that team does want to get 12 wins in 12 rounds. How good does Dean Wilson feel? Well, let's find out. We'll send it down to Aaron Bates for the Progressive Pre-Race Report with Dean Wilson.
Dreams come true for Dean Wilson last weekend when he clinched his very first 250 Motocross Championship. Dean, it has been 1 week. Has it sunk in yet, and how does it feel?
Yeah, it sunk in a little bit. I mean, like I said, it was a shame that my mom and dad weren't there at the race, but, you know, they're here this weekend, and I think it's going to sink in if I have a good day today. You know, my mom and dad and everybody, family and friends are here, so should be a good day, and it sunk in a little bit, but not too much. I think, like I said, after today will be good.
And congratulations to you once again. Dean Wilson, he dominated here 1 year ago, and he looks to do it again here in front of his family and friends today.
4 months ago, the season began at the Hangtown Classic in Sacramento. After 11 rounds and a tour of 10 states, the series comes back to California. Through it all, Jason, Jeff, and Aaron have brought you the action. One more time, the gate will drop, and the 40 fastest riders in the world will race to the checkered flag. Round 12 is next, when the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship returns to Pala Raceway.
Welcome back to Pala. It's the final round of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Southern California, of course, the heart of motocross racing in the U.S., and these 250 riders have already completed their first moto today. We'll show you the highlights. Now, watch immediately off the start, one of the most bizarre crashes you'll ever see. The 37 of Darren Durham up and over, the 20 of Broc Tickle, the 36 of Cole Seeley all down. Taking advantage of that, the 57 of Blake Baggett gets out front. He's got company, though, Jeff.
Dean Wilson here, the newly crowned champion, gets to the inside of Baggett, but this wouldn't be the end.
No,
of
for
their
about
friction.
15-20 minutes, Wilson would lead, then Baggett would catch back up, and they battled hard. Wilson was able to hold on and get the win, but Baggett was not too happy about some of the tactics that Wilson was using to hold him back. We didn't see anything that seemed that controversial, but Baggett wasn't happy. Wilson, well, he's happy. He's got a championship and now another moto win. That sets us up here for Moto 2. Why do we race two motos? Well, we'll show you with the 4-1-1 breakdown. We run two motos in each of our classes. Each race lasts 30 minutes and 2 laps, and we combine the scores from the 2 races to determine an overall winner for the day. So that's the way motocross races. What about the track? Well, we've talked to some of our top 250 riders about what they think of racing here in Southern California.
Pala was cool. It was a new track for last year. It was one of those that you had to make sure you was hanging on because it was going to take you for a ride.
The track's really cool. They have half the track, and It's kind of jumpy and weaves in and out.
You go to the top and they got like down and up hills, and then they have that big double.
The sun is actually pretty bad there for a couple of the jumps and hills for seeing, you know, because you got ruts again. You can't see the bottom of them.
I don't know, I just like the track. It's got some elevation changes and it's just close to home, and that kind of does make a difference.
They always do a good job there. Even when we're out there practicing, they're always ripping it and putting a lot of water down.
Just being the last round of the year, you know, there's a lot of pressure on points leaders, and you want to get out of there with healthy and go home to a little vacation.
Let's check out the track map brought to you by Kawasaki and the all-new 2012 KX450F, fully equipped and race ready. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, off the start, you make a nice sweeping left and a right. That's going to sort everybody out. But the comments today is that this track is fast. Maybe the fastest track ever. It just really opens up in some of these sections. Then you get into the hill sections, that big Lucas Oil tabletop jump. This is that step up and a step down, massive double jump right through here. 250Fs will be wide open. Then the Huckabuckers. Gnarly whoop section, couple of S-turns, couple of double jumps onto the finish.
It's what it looks like on board, Jeff.
Here you go. This massive tabletop, this Lucas Oil jump up over the top. And this is earlier today. Track was a little bit wetter, a little more moist, okay? Definitely smoother than what it was earlier. And this is one of the cool jumps here on the track as you jump down again. And here in the second moto, it's going to be rough all the way through. Track's dried out quite a bit. Actually, Gareth almost getting off the side of the track right there for a little bit. This is a pretty cool step up right there where you got to stop to try to hit the inside.
And they'll jump back downhill, back into the view of the spectators. Good footage there, courtesy of our GoPro Hero Cam. Let's check out the Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com keys to the race, Jeff.
Well, it's, I tell you, obviously getting a good start. It's going to be really important here today. The track's going to be nasty. The sun has started to set to our left, so behind the riders. So when they're coming back down by the finish line, it's going to be a little bit of shadows on some of those steep jumps. And this is the last race of the year. Leave it all on the table, and I got a feeling the 57 here has got some extra motivation after Moto 1.
Yeah, he was very heated about racing with Dean Wilson. Now we'll explain why he has the red background on his plate. They are running the Motocross of Nations graphics and gear on their bikes. That's a team race that will take place in France next weekend, and Baggett is on the U.S. team. So a little preview of the red, white, and blue attire he'll be running, and that probably doesn't make Wilson too happy. Wilson has the red plate in the series because he's your series points leader and champion. They're going to let Baggett run red in this one. I think they might be seeing red if they run into each other in this moto.
Yeah, but hey, pride is on the line. These guys are going for it each and every time they get on the track. Card's going to go sideways in between 5 and 10 seconds. The gate will drop, and that'll be it. The final race of the year. Here we go.
We're in the midst of 2 hours of live coverage on speed. This is going to be good. Jimmy Dakotas in the 66, swooping through from the outside. He's going to grab the whole shot on the Geico Honda. He's got his teammate 891, Justin Bogle, right there with him.
Well, that's going to make 3 whole shots on the year for Dakotas.
Oh, and carnage there in the first turn. The 70 of Tevin Tapio's down. A whole bunch of riders. Good to see some of the other teams going in there and contributing to help some of the privateers get up. Meanwhile, I think that might be the 210 of Kyle Peters, who is only in his second pro race, who is up front.
Seems to be. Well, Bogle, he's another amateur graduate. Both of these riders, you know, experiencing their opening of their pro career here, so they spent some time together.
Bogle trying to make the move on Peters. About a month ago, these guys were battling at the Amateur National Championship at Loretta Lynn's. Bogle takes the measure of Peters right now, moves into second. Then it's the 35 and Kyle Cunningham making moves. Just got around Alex Martin on the 46. Where are the Kawasaki's? Whoa! And Peters almost comes together with his teammate Cunningham. 210 and the 35.
Veteran and the rookie.
And now we've got one of the Kawasaki's in view. I believe it's Wilson on the green bike, trying to go forward.
Well, this is going to be a big opportunity here for Peters because in his pro debut, we really haven't seen much of him. And it really has been credited to his bad starts. Okay, he just hasn't put himself into position. So I'm really interested to see what this rookie has as far as speed right now. Not really concerned with his fitness so much right now as seeing if for the first 10 or 15 minutes how fast he can run.
And Cunningham keeps the heat on as the 66 of Dakotas leads Bogle. So that's 2 Hondas, 2 Yamahas, another Honda Martin, and then finally one of the monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki's, Wilson, coming into view. Oh, and more riders down.
Morais.
71 of Morais. Man, we can take you through this and show you. I think that might be Tedder on the 583 down with him.
Oh, off the, oh, that's down the drop-off, so all the riders are coming down, and it's a blind section there.
Oh, and that's what happened. Just ran into the bike. They didn't run into each other. Ouch. So we were talking about that big double. You saw that on our GoPro helmet cam earlier. Bogle is now into the lead around Dakotas. So the kid, in just his 4th ever pro race, is out front. He's been getting better, amazingly enough, every week. And he started out really well. He was 5th at his first race at Unadilla, and it's been nothing but solid improvement since then. He's battling with Dean Wilson for the win last week in Pennsylvania, and is now leading with Dakotas, his teammate, in 2nd.
Hey, Bogle's been pretty strong, and if he can get out front and put down some fast laps, get a little distance on, the Pro Circuit Kawasaki guys who really have been the cream of the crop this season.
Yep.
He might have a chance to win the final moto of the year. What a way to go out.
Here's Wilson, who won that first moto. You saw the highlights earlier. He's beginning to pressure Kyle Cunningham as they're hovering around the top 5. And I believe they've both gotten around Peters on the 210. So that would be Cunningham in 3rd, Wilson in 4th, Peters back to 5th.
Jason, this track is really difficult right now. It's gotten really rough and choppy. And as opposed to last year, the riders said that the track was much more hard pack than last year. It was really soft and rutted. Not quite like that, but the good thing is that riders like Wilson, Cunningham, they spend so much time here in Southern California. They know what the track is like. Okay, they ride a lot of laps here on the practice days, and also Marvin Muscan is making his way up here trying to get past Peters.
Yeah, that is a battle, 210 and 125. Muscan was 4th in the first moto. He was all over those 3 Kawasaki's out front. Now he's in front of a bunch of them.
Oh, he's got the momentum here, though.
Through the huckabuck section, and they both managed to keep the bikes upright, but Marvin manipulates those jumps a little bit better than Peters and is able to take over the spot. And that should be top 5 for the Red Bull KTM rider. There goes Alex Martin trying to make a move now on Peters. And that's what you said Peters was up against. It's a lot different pace at the sharp end of the pack.
Yeah, things are happening pretty quick for him inside of his helmet there. So we'll see if he can stabilize it, possibly get a top 10 out of this. But, I mean, you've got Baggett, Tickle, Anderson, Rattray, Swanepoel, Tomac, and Sipes. I mean, some seriously fast guys that he's going to have to ward off, and he's still got 25 minutes plus 2 laps to do that.
Yeah, these are guys who have been up front week in and week out. They've got a lot of experience. Here is Wilson, now up to 3rd as he clears Cunningham and goes after Dakotas and Bogle. Geico Honda team, a mixed season for them. A year ago, they won. Another problem for the Rockstar Suzuki team. Davalos is out. They're working on the bike in the pits. Of course, we saw his teammate Morais down on lap 1.
Looks like the shift lever there, left foot area, is bent in. Now, if he hits something, it would wrap the shifter back. And it looked like for me when what they were doing, they were pushing on trying to straighten that back out.
And Morais, who was down earlier, by the way, that was Tyler Schoberg he came together with, not Tedder. Just want to correct that. Schoberg is back in the race. I don't believe Morais is. Here is your leader, Bogle.
I believe when we cut back to Bogle here that he was actually off the track there for a second. Wilson's in 3rd right now. Bogle cannot waste any time. He's got to put in the best laps of his career if he wants to win this moto.
Well, his career's pretty new. Best laps of his career? Might be able to do that. Will it be good enough to hold off Wilson and the rest of the guys that are be coming after him? Well, you'll have to just keep watching. A long way to go. You see the countdown clock top of the screen. There's 23 minutes and 2 laps left in this moto. Yesterday at the Palo Mesa Resort, the Road to Recovery Foundation held their annual Golf Classic event. raise some money for injured riders. Not only does it help them defray the medical costs, yes, our own Jeff Emig was there, but the Road to Recovery also provides emotional and spiritual help if they should sustain a career-ending injury. So it's a cool way to hang out with the superstars of the sport and raise some money.
Formula One.
Full lessons learned the hard way on Dumbest Stuff on Wheels, Wednesday night, 9 Eastern, only on Speed. Jeff Emig's favorite show.
It is awesome. I'm telling you, there's some, oh, it hurts.
A little bit of an update here while we're at break. Kyle Cunningham has made the move on the 66 of Jimmy Dakotas. There's Cunningham, and here comes Marvin Musquin looking to make moves on both of them.
Well, and the good ride out of that DNA Shred Sticks Yamaha team, Kyle Cunningham, he's in a points battle with Eli Tomac. Now, after Moto 1 here, how it all shook down, they're separated by 6 points. So Tomac is up 6 points on Cunningham coming into this final moto. Cunningham runs third. Tomac is buried back at 12. I don't know exactly what those points are, but it definitely could change and put Cunningham into 4th overall for the series, which would be a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, and that would be the first rider in the series not on a Kawasaki, as they had swept the top 3 spots. Let's talk a little bit about the Frenchman, the 2-time world champion coming over here to the U.S. now, Marvin Musquin, who's really found his stride. Great ride for 3rd last week at Steel City in Pennsylvania. Great ride for 4th in the first moto today, and he's looking for another good run in this one.
Yeah, definitely his confidence is back, and he looks better, you know, on the bike, a lot like at the start of the championship, where he's got this flow and this really, you know, efficient riding technique. I mean, this guy, he's got a great style. But when he came back from that injury, I mean, it just looked like he was fighting it. He just was not flowing, but he's got it now, Aaron.
That's exactly it, Bro. What you had just mentioned, he has been struggling ever since that injury. In fact, he's come back, he's making a strong comeback. He's finally got his confidence, he's got his groove back, but it has been in the back of his mind this entire time, and he openly admitted it. That's what was holding him back this season.
Yeah, definitely those injuries like that, they can really set you back, and to build that confidence, it's tough to do.
Here's a progressive whole shot replay.
And look on the right side of our screen, it was getting ugly there with Swanepoel. Looks like Baggett gets out of there all right. Tickle makes it through this one pretty clean, but a couple of those Geico Hondas getting the whole shot.
Unfortunately, the one Geico Honda, as a rider goes down around the outside, Tomac didn't get the start. And as you mentioned, he is in 12th right now. We'll try to keep tabs on the 19, but his teammate, Justin Bogle, continues to lead. Mechanic says fun and fast. He's trying to keep the kid loose, keep the pressure off, just have fun out there. Talked to Bogle earlier today. He said he actually was a little under the weather last week at Steel City, so he took this week off. He feels completely recovered and fresh, and he showed the speed to actually battle with Wilson early in that race. So if he has a little more endurance in the tank this time, maybe he can hold on and win it. There's Cunningham in 3rd, Dakotas in 4th. And next in the order, I believe, is going to be Baggett. I think Baggett, yeah, there he is. He has made the move on Musquin. So Baggett and Wilson had some heat after the first moto. Will they hook it up here in Moto 2?
Well, Baggett's going to have to close that gap right now. Wilson's about 4 seconds off the lead. Baggett's another 10 back from Wilson, so he's going to have to pick it up. But I'm pretty proud of Dakotas right here, putting in a pretty strong ride after that great start.
Aaron, give us the fight scorecard there. What went down between Baggett and Wilson after Moto 1?
Well, you guys, I think it's safe to say that as soon as they were on the mule with the management of Mitch Payton, things went mellow very, very quickly. But no, when they got back to the rig, I guess there was a very stern talk that took place, and that kind of behavior is not going to be tolerated whatsoever. So there was definitely, the smack talk is finished. You'll see these guys respectful at the end of this moto, regardless of whatever happens, if you're working under the tent of Mitch Payton.
They always ruin all the good drama. Meanwhile, Baggett, he's going to try to catch Wilson anyway. He goes after the 66 of Dakotas, and Dakota's going to try to hold him off around the outside. Baggett has the pass made, so he's one position closer. That would essentially be your battle for the overall. Baggett needs to beat Wilson to win the overall with the 2 motos counting today. And looks like Musquin trying to close in on Dakotas right now. So lots of good battles all over the track. It's still early here on a very rough racetrack at Pala. Anything can happen, so stay with us. We're back at Pala Raceway just outside of San Diego, California, and the kids getting it done. Justin Bogle leads the way. And as we welcome new blood in the series of Bogle, we found one of our old friends trackside down with Aaron Bates. Aaron?
That's right, you guys. We found the 101 of Ben Townley. And Ben, the last time that we saw you race was actually here at Pala last year. A lot has gone on. You've been on the sidelines, but take us through what your thoughts are on this track, the championship that took place, and the drama that's unfolding under the Pro Circuit tent today.
Yeah, it's been a gnarly year. You know, these guys are close, this Pro Circuit team. It was kind of like that for me and Villopoto a few years back, and Mitch doesn't take that crap. You know, he runs a tight ship and he gives everyone the same fair chance, so he doesn't like that going down. But it's turned out to be a good race. This stunt is it's going to be tough out there for sure right now, and it's even going to get worse for the 450s later in the day. But right now, it's shaping up to be a good race with Bogle and Wilson for sure. These young kids, they can go.
What are your plans in the future? Are you planning on coming back to race in America?
I'm really not sure yet. I'm over here. I took some time off to get into a better position for my body and just my overall well-being, and it seems to be working out really well. I came over here to do some riding in California. I've been riding the last week or so. Mitch gave me a bike to ride, and it's going really well. And so, well, I don't know, actually. I'll take it as it comes right now, and we'll see what happens.
Ben, always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
BT 101, I guess he summed it up better than anyone else could about what happens if the teammates start having problems with Pro Circuit truck. Mitch Payton shuts that down, I'll put it that way.
Well, right now, Bogle's trying to shut down the Pro Circuit guys right now. Uh-oh.
Oh, wait a minute.
Peters is in the pits.
And Jeff, you said that would be the challenge, running up front there. It's a whole new experience. Unfortunately for him, not able to make it work, but he's already got a deal, I believe, with that team next year, so plenty of time. Doesn't have to impress in this moto. But Bogle sure is. We're into the final stretch here, almost 20 minutes into a 30-minute and 2-lap moto, and he continues to hold Wilson at bay. Impressive ride by this kid.
It is, and what's going to be interesting here is what happens to him if Dean, which I presume he will. His lap times are definitely there. Wilson's just about half a second faster last time around. How is Bogle going to react? Is he going to make any big mistakes? Is he going to lose his cool, or is he going to keep us cool and run strong lines? Maybe he can hold him off to the finish. I don't know, but so far so good for the rookie Justin Bogle.
There's Wilson in second, Cunningham still third, Baggett fourth, and Marvin Muscan is in fifth. Wilson won both motos of this race last year, won the first moto earlier today. He's essentially undefeated at this track. We'll see if he can get Bogle and keep that streak alive.
Well, and for Wilson and his mom and dad, Jackie and Andy, who were not able to be at the race last weekend when he won the title. They were on the road and they missed it, so a 1-1 here today. They'd be some proud parents, huh?
I think they already are.
Yeah.
But yeah, they want to see it in person. We'll drop back a little bit, try to show you the battle behind them. Here it is, Cunningham and Baggett. And Cunningham, like you said, trying to make up some points on Tomac to maybe take over fourth in the series.
And Jason, he's made up a lot of points because a couple laps ago, Tomac dropped all the way back to 18th. Okay, 18th would have been close to an 11-point gap. So right now, Cunningham, he looks like he's in the position to steal fourth in the championship away and be the first non-Pro Circuit rider. And that's a huge statement for this DNA Shred Sticks Star Racing Yamaha team. They've had a few great rides here and there, a couple of injuries, a couple of setbacks, but overall, it's been a big season for them.
Yeah, a lot of people consider it a two-horse race between Geico Honda and Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki in this 250 class, but this Yamaha team has definitely made its presence known this year. Cunningham has had great runs. Swanepoel won a moto. Ryan Sipes won a couple of Supercross races. Uh-oh, here comes Wilson closing the gap on Bogle.
Yeah, but you talk about needing to win. It's the Geico Honda team. Because like you said, this was kind of shaping up okay. We got these two powerhouse teams in Supercross lights. Pro Circuit won the West. Geico Honda won the East, and it really looked like Barcia and Tomac would be two of the guys to beat.
Yeah, Tomac was so close to that Supercross title. It was a great season for him that just the team just couldn't replicate it outdoors.
Yeah, so this is a shot of adrenaline here for this Honda team, and definitely great to see a rookie being able to step right in and run this sort of pace. Because like I said, I'm more focused on his speed and you know, how he reacts mentally over I am the fitness, because you can always build the fitness.
Well, he is definitely not wilted mentally under the pressure from Wilson. The gap has been pretty stable. A little mistake there. So far, so good. Justin Bogle trying to take his first career pro moto victory.
For 125 years, Sunoco's been propelling people forward to their destinations and to their victories. Which is why we're trusted to fuel 40 series of racing, driving, and winning, including AMA Pro, ARCA, Grand Am, World Challenge, and the SCCA. We'll fuel anything that pursues a fit.
Got a change for the lead here. Dean Wilson has gotten around the 891 of Justin Bogle, but Bogle did a great job trying to hold the relative veteran off. Here's the pass, Jeff.
Watch Wilson, he's already set up. He knows exactly what he wants to do. Perfect on the brakes, no mistakes. Get that left foot out, leans the bike over, hammers the throttle. Not even close. Wilson draws the shorter line and has more speed. And let's see if Bogle can hang with him. But Wilson, once again, is doing that massive jump at the end of the Huckabuckers, that long whoop section. Wilson has got the line once again. He's the only rider that I've seen do that in that sequence. So we'll see if next lap around, see if he's still using that line to his advantage. We got a little over 4 minutes plus 2 laps here in the season.
Well, it's been a great season for Dean Wilson, so certainly he's going to be a star here as we run down the top 5 moments of this 2011 250 Class Championship. Check it out.
Number 5, Privateer Darren Durham leads High Point.
So Pennsylvania's own Darren Durham in the lead. Yeah, it's like we showed our replay of the old school Tony D, Pennsylvania's own, winning this race. Durham's going to try to do the same.
The 11-10 Mons Privateer would eventually race to a 4th place finish, but in the process, Double D turned heads and proved there are indeed some fast riders residing outside of the factory pits.
Number 4, the Chupacabra is born at High Point.
Baggett stayed in it on the outside. There he goes.
And he still makes the pass. So Blake Baggett takes the lead.
Number 3, Geico Honda riders struggle all season.
Eli Tomac, Wil Hahn, Justin Barcia, and the rest of the Red Riders spent more time on the ground and in the medic tent than on the podium. A disappointing season for a team that won the title 1 year earlier.
Number 2, Pro Circuit dominates.
Through 11 rounds, the most successful team in the sport's history has won every overall and 21 out of 22 motos.
Number 1, Dean Wilson wins the 250 title at Steel City.
The likable Scotsman was a factor in the American Motocross Tour last year, but in 2011, it has really come together. He outpaced his 2 talented teammates, and with 2 wins and a 2.2 average moto finish, he's bringing the 250 championship back to Pro Circuit Kawasaki.
You know, Jeff, I see those highlights, and it really brings to light how much talent is in the ranks. Dean Wilson, I said before, he's relatively a veteran compared to Bogle, who has only raced 4 pro races. It's only Wilson's 2nd full pro season as well. Throw in all the other great guys in the class, of course, his teammates. We mentioned the Geico Honda team. They've got a lot of talent under that tent. The DNA Shred 6-star Racing Yamaha team. You got Marvin Muscion on the KTM, and they're going to bring over Ken Roxon, another fast European next year. Look out. This 250 class is loaded 2012.
Yeah, you know that. And it's these young guys coming through. And what has been so great is when Dean Wilson wrapped up this title last year, that soundbite of him just saying, look, you know, I would go to sleep at night dreaming to be the AMA motocross champion. And he's now living his dream. And, you know, you're going to have Ken Roxon over here next year trying to do the same thing as he's doing.
Man, it's going to be good. Wednesday night on Speed, My Ride Rules is all new. See 4 car fanatics face off in the wildest car competition ever. Don't miss an all-new episode of My Ride Rules Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
How do I get on that show? I'm gonna get my van in there.
Does it rule?
Fix it.
That's the first
rocks,
part.
You know it does.
Okay, it rocks, it rolls. Does it rule? Only one way to find out. Hey, you mentioned, sorry about that, you mentioned Bogle. Can he stay with Wilson? He did a pretty good job there. Think he learned something?
I think so, but right now he learned that Dean Wilson is virtually unbeatable because he's pulled out 4 seconds on him. Bogle just had a 2:20 that last time around, and Baggett's at a 2:17. So Bogle's got, you know, a little bit of time here, and he possibly could be second in this moto, but the Chupacabra still on the move.
Yeah, that's Baggett up to third, and we'll see if he can maybe pick off Bogle by the end of this one. I don't think anyone's going to catch Wilson, though. He has done a phenomenal job looking to continue an undefeated streak for his team this year and an undefeated streak for himself at this track. Certainly has had better luck than the kids learning how to pilot the Traxxas trucks. Those things got some horsepower. There we go. They're figuring it out. Stay with us here from Pala. Dean Wilson continues to lead.
The future of
the Soil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Checking out Blake Baggett there in the number 57. Going pretty fast in his dirt bike. He's up to third here in this final race, but comparatively slow compared to what he did last week. 1 week ago, he actually, after a race in Pennsylvania, headed over to Baltimore and got a ride in an Indy car. Pretty cool situation here, the 2-seat ride. Yeah, that's some speed, a little bit faster than the bike can go. And we had a chance to talk to Blake about what this experience was like.
Yeah, my IndyCar race experience, I got to go to the Baltimore Grand Prix. I'm not even sure how many laps they did, but I got to ride in a 2-seat Indy car, and that was pretty sick for sure. You got to like feel the course out and see how actually narrow it is, and get a feel for how fast they go compared to how fast we go, which is by far a lot faster. And it was really cool to see how many like G's you pull in the corner just by turning in. You know, you're like leaning against the outside. And all in all, it was a good experience. Got to watch the race. We stood right in the first turn, so that's where all the crashes were.
And he had some fun earlier in the year when he got a couple of wins. And I think at the halfway point, a lot of people thought Blake Baggett was the favorite for the championship. Dean Wilson definitely turned it around. Once Wilson went down to Florida and hung out with Chad Reed, he really upped his game. And we haven't quite seen the same edge, meanwhile, from Baggett over the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, well, there was a combination there as Dean got it together. Baggett seemed to have a lot of misfortune. Just seemed like his starts were off. He wasn't putting himself in the right position. I mean, we wouldn't see him till the end of the motos. You know, this points race actually is fairly tight here for second and third between Baggett and Rattray.
Yeah, he's only 3 points down as they run right now. Rattray is in fifth. Baggett is third in this race. Baggett could make up 2 points if he can catch Bogle, but he's still 6 seconds behind Bogle. I don't know if Baggett's going to get to do it. And Jeff, you know, there's a difference in bonus money, I'm sure, between second and third in the championship. So that's a lot on the line between those two.
Definitely could be a little bit of pride involved. You know, I wouldn't say bragging rights, but more pride at that point. But Rattray still hammering away.
Yeah, they've got the 125 of Musquian in between them. There is Rattray. Rattray shopping for a ride. He wants to race the 450 class next year outdoors, but he's relatively new to Supercross racing, so he wants to race a 250 in the lights class in Supercross and then race a big bike outdoors. There aren't many teams that run a program like that. Usually you race either a 250 all year or a 450 all year, but Rattray, solid season this year. I've heard there's quite a bit of interest, whatever class he wants to ride. There's a couple teams that would like to get him. He's definitely a proven winner and champion as well. But the champion this year is Dean Wilson. What a way to cap this off.
Took a look over his left shoulder, just wants to see exactly where Bogle is at, because you know Dino here, he can have a little fun on this last lap over that big Lucas Oil tabletop and that double coming back towards the finish. I guarantee we're going to see the drain plug more than once.
Well, I want to touch on that. Last week, after he won the title, I said to Dean, you know, what's the difference? He's stepped up since he became a pro. He was really good as an amateur, but he's been great as a pro. A lot of times, you know, the guys say you got to put in the hard work, or it's the dedication, you know, not getting distracted with all the elements outside. What's funny, he said the opposite. He said what he had to learn was don't overdo it. A lot of riders turn pro and think, well, now I need to ride 3 40-minute motos every day. He feels the more fun he has, the more he is backed down, the better he has gotten.
There you go. Oh,
There's
that was
a good
hot.
plug. Think he's having fun?
Yeah, he's having fun, and you find you know, I think most of the riders, I mean, for the most part, the riders that are coming through are conditioned for the hard work. I think that we're kind of past that laziness mode that certain riders had. Okay, so they all know that there's some hard work to do, but you get into an overtraining situation, and that actually works in a negative effect too. But he has found the right formula for him, and he knows what works. And I'm going to tell you, he's going to whip it off this big double right here. This thing's wide open on your 250.
There you go. Look at that.
That was hot. That was awesome.
Oh, well said. I didn't even know he had that in the bag of tricks, and all of a sudden at Unadilla he started throwing out these whips, and he started winning races, and he started having more fun, and he started winning even more, and then he won the championship, and now he's going to sweep both motos last week in Pennsylvania and sweep both motos here. This guy is building a full head of steam, not just toward the end of this championship, but setting a tone for the next couple. You want to win in the 250 class, you're going to have to go through the 15 of Dean Wilson, who will wear the #1 next year. He's your champion and your winner. Dean Wilson sweeps it here at Pala. And Justin Bogle throwing out a old school heel clicker over the finish line jump. He charged hard all the way to the end because he did not want Baggett to get him for second, and he gets the job done. Baggett is going to finish third. Here comes Rattray. He's got his teammate Broc Tickle right behind him. Marvin Musquian, Marvin Attack is going to take fourth. Rattray fifth. Sixth is going to go to Tickle, and I believe that will be enough for Rattray to just barely hold off Baggett for second in the series standings.
Yeah, and it looks like Kyle Cunningham on the Yamaha dropped back to 8th. Tomac on the last lap was still running 12th, so might put the Honda rider, Tomac, up into 4th overall for the championship.
Yeah, that's one of those rides that will go almost unnoticed. Tomac with a 12th, but he had to dig that one out. So good run by Tomac down the stretch. Of course, great run for Wilson, who takes the win. Bogle, he's got to be just as happy finishing second. Not bad for a new kid. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Jeff Emig. This is the all-new 2012 KX4.
Site of the final round of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. You're watching 2 straight hours of live coverage on Speed, our 450 title showdown coming up right after this. Wednesday night, car show is all new as Adam and the boys take a crash course in stunt driving. And then Dan goes old school as he gets behind the wheel of a legendary vintage racer. Don't miss the car show Wednesday nights, 10 Eastern only on Speed. So our final 250 moto is complete. Let's give you the Lucas Oil race recap in that one and show you how Dean Wilson emerged with the win. Seems like the start here has been crazy. It's like guys battling off the line of scrimmage here, bumping and banging around. The 66 of Jimmy Dakotas is going to get the whole shot, and he had his teammate 891, Justin Bogle, right behind him. Watch this on the first lap, big crash. 71 of Ryan Morais is down, as well as Tyler Schoberg, who runs into his bike. Ouch. Meanwhile, Bogle would take the lead from Dakotas and would hold it to the 25-minute mark of this moto, and finally Wilson would find an inside line to take the lead from the rookie. These guys are pretty good friends on and off the track, so no trouble there at racing together. They even congratulate each other on finishing first and second. We'll show you the results. Third went to Baggett. Bogle really had to hustle down the stretch as Baggett was charging hard to try to get him. Came up just a few seconds short. Musquian ends up in 4th. Frenchman Rattray in 5th. Tickle, Swanepoel, Cunningham, Anderson, and Martin round out your top 10. Let's send it down to Aaron Bates.
Dean Wilson undefeated here at Pala. Dean, you came in, it was all for pride. You had that championship all wrapped up, but your family was back there, very emotional. Did this win, was it for them today?
Oh, it was for sure for them. You know, first of all, I was pushing hard to get that win, and then that one, terrible start. I had to come through the pack, and so pumped for my buddy Justin Bogle. He's doing so good, and it's cool. You know, we were out front. You know, it's just like the old days, so it was cool. And you know, I just couldn't do it without the whole team: Monster Energy, Pro Circuit Kawasaki, Thor, Dunlop, Parts Unlimited, Scott, Bands, Volcom, the Dirt Sharks here lurking, my mom and dad. Big shout out to Tuo Vesmito for my nice truck. Everybody, this is just like the greatest year of my life, and thank you so much.
You can see the emotion. It's all kicked in all right now. Dean Wilson, the celebration is on.
Well, the motocross season is nearly a wrap, but plenty of great racing coming up on Speed. Of course, Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship kicks off January 7th at Anaheim. That's a live broadcast
on speed. You see the arrow, that's a lot of live television coming up. And don't forget the Monster Energy Cup. $1 million on the line in a one-night-only showdown in Vegas on October 15th. Dean Wilson, by the way, will race a 450 there. That should be fun to watch. Let's send it back down to Aaron.
Such an amazing season for Blake Baggett, but Blake, you've got the look of disappointment right now written all over your face. This isn't exactly how you wanted to go down at the end of the season, I take it?
No, definitely not. I had some highs of the season, I had some lows, and just haven't been able to get it done lately. But my team's been there: Monster Energy, Pro Circuit Kawasaki, Thor, Parts Limited, Advanced, Vulcan, Traxxas, SoCal Super Trucks, my mom, my dad, my girlfriend, my trainer Alden Baker. Just everybody's been helping me, and just been struggling a little bit. So we'll try to hold it down for Team USA and in France and see what we can do. I mean, just kind of ran out of time, and starts have been my greatest thing. But I'll go back and study the videos, and hopefully we can change that before we fly out to France Monday, so I don't got much time.
Best of luck. A hard charge all season long for Blake Baggett.
Here is the overall when we calculate both motos. Bogle had a 10th in moto number 1, so that drops him back to 5th when we combine them both. Look who's on a podium for the 2nd straight race. Marvin Musquian, good job.
Attacks.
All right, let's send it back down to Aaron.
We talked about it a little bit earlier, but Marvin, this track suited your style ever since the moment you got here. How much fun were you having today, and what does it mean, 2 in a row, the icing on the cake for the season?
I had a lot of fun for sure. It's California, it's Polar Raceway. I used to ride training here, and the track was awesome. I had a lot of fun. So again, my bike was awesome, and my KTM, Red Bull, and my start was not really good today, but my speed was good, and my condition also good. So yeah, 3rd overall again, like last week, Steel City, so it's good. And thanks to Red Bull KTM team, they did a great job for me, and all my sponsors, Oakley, Aero, Lead Brace, Alpine Star. Thank you.
Congratulations on finishing off the season strong.
Let's show you the final season standings. You will not see Musquian in the top 10 because he missed a lot of races with injury. You have to wonder where he would have ended up if he were there all year. And Rattray, there you go, edges Baggett by just 3 points, and Tomac edges Cunningham by 3. Great racing throughout this very competitive 250 class. All right, can't wait till next year. Fuel your passion for motorcycle racing with Speed Motorcycle text alerts powered by Yamaha. Get the latest moto racing results and breaking news as soon as they become available, sent right to your phone. Text MOTO, MOTO, to Speed, then a number 3 for the alerts right now. Let's send it back down to Aaron.
What an impressive ride for Justin Bogle. Justin, rookie coming in, but you didn't ride like one today. Take us through the feeling of leading those first 10 laps.
It was awesome. I got a Jimmy D hole shot, got around him, and I just led for about 25 minutes. I got pretty nervous, I'll be honest. So saw Dino behind me, he was catching me. We went 1-2 though. It was fun throwing whips over the big jump, so it was cool.
It's a learning curve, but he is a quick learner.
All right, it's all smiles right now in this 250 class, but it is going to get real serious right after this. Our 450 final moto of the year, that championship yet to be decided. Ryan Dungey, Ryan Villopoto, one last showdown, Jeff.
Yeah, but for Dean Wilson, led the most laps, 11 wins out of 24 motos, 3 overalls out of 12. He's your new champ.
Yeah, he's going to be a tough customer. Meanwhile, the Ryans, one last race in the 450 class coming up right after this. Don't go anywhere. History is about to be made.